I'll start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I'm a sole trader, so I'm literally work for myself. I've got no staff members at all, so I'm effectively responsible for everything in my business. I'm also an adult education tutor, so I teach other people how to make jewellery in the evenings as well. I work part-time for Overdrive Digital, which is a marketing company. My main role is to do things like update WordPress blogs, help come up with concepts for marketing, things like that. I'm also a mum to a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old, so eye bags, that's what they're about. So firstly, I guess a lot of you would have got going already, but I think it's best that we start at the beginning, buying a domain name. So your domain name is literally what you're going to call your website, and it's instead of coding and all the stuff behind the scenes of a website, it's literally how people can find you. So this is my specific web address, kirstenhendrich.com. If you were going to set up your own brand, you'd use your brand name, your own name, or basically whatever you can find that's available that relates to your business. How do you choose a name? So if you've got a name that's set up already for your business, that's unique, you're already halfway there. Sometimes you'll find that your name's already been taken, which can be quite frustrating. Part of the problem that I'm finding at the moment, my name is quite difficult to pronounce and spell, so I'm looking for a better alternative for a domain name. So I'm looking at something along the lines of KH Jewellery. A, it hints at what I do, and B, there's no spelling involved. It's quite simple. So if I say to somebody, my website is KH Jewellery, it kind of cuts out the faff of Kirsten Hendrich. They go, how do you spell that? Hendrich, is it like Jimi Hendrix with an X? Kind of cuts out all that faffing around. So try and stick with something simple, hint maybe at what you do, or stick to your brand name. You can get these domain names pretty much from everywhere. GoDaddy is probably the one that you recognise the most. There's Heart Internet, there's Reg123. There are a few scam companies out there, so stick to the main companies that you hear of. What do you do if your domain name is already taken? Like mine, KH Jewellery is already gone, so I'm going to have to think again around the box. What can I do? So try another variation. Is there something else that you can think of that will suit your brand that people will find easily? Could you try another suffix? So by that I mean .net, .co.uk, .org. Would that suit you? Are you happy to go along those realms? If not, there's the company called Sedo. It's basically like an eBay auction site for domain names. Quite a lot of people will buy up domain names on purpose, so when you come along wanting what they've got, they'll charge you a lot of money to buy it back. So my husband works in an office with lots of different people running different businesses. The guy behind him this week sold a website domain name for £16,000. So someone was that desperate enough. Be careful though, there's no one to limit what price it'll be. They know that they've got something you want. So don't pay over the odd for it. Look at another solution instead. If someone does have something, a website domain that you've got as well, that they've got that you want, you can just email them, see if their business, if they're willing to sell directly, rather than going through an auction site. So do you need to buy all the suffixes when you get going? I personally haven't, because I'm a small brand, so I bought .com because it highlights I'm international, so I will post my products across the world. And I've also purchased .co.uk because that's where I'm based. I didn't bother going down the lines of .net, etc., because small things add up, all the costs add up and become a lot eventually. If you are a bigger brand, it might be worth considering. There's a story recently that's come out in my industry that a craft show company has bought the .com version but didn't bother buying .co.uk. Their rival bought their name but the .co.uk, so people visiting the .co.uk version might think they've landed on Company One's original website. So it's kind of a bit sneaky. They might potentially steal the original company's customers signing up for a craft show that actually they're aiming for the other company instead. So maybe a big brand, maybe it might protect your brand if people might try and muscle in on your identity. So domain privacy is something that's come up actually in forums that I've recently seen. I just signed up for it without even really realising, to be honest. There's a site called Whois, and it basically gives all the details of the person who's registered a domain, so their address, their email address, and phone number. which is quite good if you're trying to find who's got a domain name if you want to contact them to buy it. But quite a few people have said recently they're getting spammed through this. I think the additional cost to buy it when you set up a domain name, don't think it's too much. But I personally, now I'm aware of this, I'm quite glad I did it by mistake because I don't really want all my personal details out there. So it's up to you if you want to do it or not. So hosting. Hosting is basically where your website will be stored. So your website will be built up with a lot of code and images and all sorts. Basically, a server will store it for you. So when I go onto my website, your customers will go onto their browsers and type in your web address. Your hosting company will deliver it to their computer. So now we get to the realms of web design. There's quite a lot of different website companies, template companies, and I've picked a few of the ones that I come across quite often. There are others, of course, like Magento, which I haven't mentioned. It's kind of one of those you have to choose yourself and do a bit of research, but I've kind of combined a few for you to have a little look at. But first of all, you need to think about who you are, what your business is, and what you actually require for your business. So you're all going to be wanting different things. What is your budget? What support will you need? And by that, can you do coding? Are you not able to do any yourself and you really need an easy website where you can literally put in images and text and the template does the hard work for you? Budget-wise, they're all relatively cheap, but some of them will need a little bit more money than others. And think about the look that you're looking for as well. If you're looking for quite a complicated e-commerce store with lots of features and lots of different products and menus, consider if the template you're looking at will accommodate that. So first of all, I'm going to look at portfolio sites, and by that I mean those where people, for example, photographers, where maybe you're not going to directly be selling products, or maybe you don't want to sell products online, you just want people to have a base where they can see what you do. So I've put down Squarespace. Squarespace is really nice, simplistic websites, and good quality. And the best thing of all about them is their mobile site is really good. So if someone's looking at your website on their mobile, it's really responsive. They can find everything clearly. It's not like when you go to one of those websites, you're clicking and scrolling across trying to read all the product information. It's really dedicated to mobile devices, tablets, etc. They've really thought it through. At the moment with it, there is e-commerce, so I think it could work on a small level basis if you've got a few products you just want to entice people to buy. But there's two payment systems, PayPal and Stripe. I know that sounds like a lot, but really people are quite fussy when they're buying online. They're quite nervous about spending the money, especially if you're a small brand that people don't really know. So, for example, at the moment, I'm redesigning my website through WordPress, and at the moment I accept PayPal only. And people are so put off by that, even though you don't need an account anymore. People get really worried, and I have to deal mostly through phone orders instead. So that's a lot of work when I'm trying to make stuff and design things. It's an extra hassle. I want my websites to do the work for me, really. So I've put at the bottom, there's more adaptable e-commerce platforms available. That basically means, yeah, it's good. It's a good starting base, but there are other platforms that will do a lot of work for you with built-in apps that will help you out. The next is Wix. A lot of people in my industry, you know, we design and make jewellery. We're not website experts. We don't know how to code, but we can hammer metal and all that sort of stuff. Wix is great for people like us that we prefer to spend time making stuff and designing stuff, and we don't know how to do all this. Wix is really simple, so you can get going straight away. It's literally a case of dragging in images and typing in text, and it does the rest for you. So there's over 500 templates to choose from, which is great. You've got lots of choice. And the good thing about Wix is there are lots of forums and a strong support system. So if you get stuck, there's someone there to help you to choose what to do or know what to do. And it's really good to use. Another tutor that I work with, she's done it all in a week, and she knows nothing. So she's really pleased with it. Again, there's an e-commerce option. I think they're still developing it, though, and it's getting better and better. But again, if you really want to develop an e-commerce option, you're going to invest in marketing. I probably wouldn't suggest Wix, but if you're a small company, you just want it there as a sideline, it could be quite a good option, especially if you don't have big funds to buy or invest in a web designer and developer, etc. E-commerce sites. So my favourite is WordPress and WooCommerce, and I'm actually building my new website through them at the moment, and I love it so far. there's a lot of themes, which actually, yeah, it's great, but it's also you can spend ages looking and trying to plan different options. Which one will you choose? Which one will suit you? It's got quite a testament that it powers 27% of the internet, and actually quite a lot of the brands I work with through my marketing work, they do use WordPress. So it's obviously quite a testament that it's a good setup. It's also SEO friendly. There's lots of behind the scenes in the menus that help and support you, even if you don't know what on earth you're doing. Also, there's lots of reports. So if you want to track what's going on, who's looking at what product, where they're coming from, you can build in all sorts of things like this. There's also what I'm discovering. There's a nice app which builds subscriber lists for you. So you know when you get customers coming along, you usually have to work out how to add them to your MailChimp list, etc. That's all built in. They've got loads of tools just to do all the hard work for you. So if you're dealing with lots of busy Christmas orders, you want as much as possible to really help you do the work and the admin, because there's not much time for it when you're working for yourself. So also it has lots of payment systems, more than I've mentioned. I think there's a couple more. Basically, it offers them all, so no customer will be put off. They can pay with whatever form they want to, which is great because customers are quite easy and flaky to find an excuse not to buy. So Shopify is the last one in e-commerce. This one's really clear, and the best thing about them is their support. So they've got email, phone, and chat. So if you are stuck setting up, you can just give them a buzz and they're there straight away, and they're really helpful. Also, you don't have to sign up to them, but I really recommend checking out their blog. They've got videos and articles galore about how to run an e-commerce business. So any aspect of it that you're stuck with, go and check out their blog because they'll have an expert talking about it. So where do you buy your theme? So I found it a little bit confusing where to really start. So I was recommended a library called Theme Forest. And by that, it's quite good. You can kind of navigate what you want. So I was looking for, obviously, quite a high star rating. You can see how many sales a template has made, and whether it's e-commerce and how much you want to spend, so you can put in your budget in the bottom. I ended up going for a company, for a website template through WordPress. They had something like 500 sales, and it was 5-star. So I thought it's going to be good. And it also looked fantastic. With this as well, you can click on the theme you're looking at to see a live version and templates, and really have a play around with the different options available. So you can see if it's going to fit your company a little bit and play around with the different options that you can see through it. They're also fully integratable as well, so you can really change colours, fonts, all sorts. So basically personalise it so they don't just all look the same online. If you're still a bit confused, because I am basically when I set up, there's so many different apps and tools and things, it's sort of a bit of a saturation online. I find it really good to speak to others in your field. What do they use? What are they saying about things? There's quite a few forums on Facebook. So, for example, there's lots of jewellery forums. For people like me who, are setting up or running a business, sometimes you can just pop in a question saying, what do you use as a website template? How do you do this? And they'll help you out. So that might be the same for your companies as well. But just think what will suit you. It's quite easy to compare yourself to others, but really write down a list of what you need from your website, what you're going to sell, who are your customers, what do you want to get across from your website. And quite a lot of them too have a free trial, so you can give it a go before you try. And as I said with Theme Forest, I spent a good month or so before committing to my template, just playing around with the template and altering it a little bit and seeing what I thought about it. So I'm going to talk about a few e-commerce features. They might seem obvious, but a lot of people get them wrong. So photography being one of them. You want to keep it really clear, and I know it's really expensive photography. I think my jewellery images, to get one done, is about £14 an image. Jewellery is hideous to photograph with all the reflections and can look really quite naff, really. So I have to invest in it. I'm not a photographer, I've tried, and it just looks awful. At the end of the day, if I'm asking people to spend, a couple of £100 on a product, I need it to look really good. So you want to give them lots of different options with layout. So they want to see it from all angles if possible. I know it adds up the cost, but also lifestyle shots, model shots, whatever you can do to remove doubt from people buying online. They're quickly going to say, oh, I wonder what the back of the ring looks like. She hasn't shown a picture, maybe I won't buy. Just remove all that doubt and put it all in, then there's no doubt that they will buy, if they like it, of course. Again, good lighting, and I know we're a world of filters now with Instagram, but don't mess around with the lighting colours, because you're just going to get returns if people don't get the right levels when they receive it and it looks completely different online. I know it's difficult with computer screens. People have things set at different levels, but try and just be as accurate as possible. A little stat at the top that 59% of shoppers state multiple product images or zoom in to be of high importance. Again, it is pretty. That's all they've got to go on to buy with your product description. So just give them everything you can. If you're a whiz with photography, that's great. You saved yourself a lot of money. And yeah, give me your number because I could do with some help. So content. Again, I put the Shopify blog because I can't recommend it enough. It's really good. If you're starting out, or even if you've got a bit of knowledge, it just gives you a few tips from some of the top brands, what they would do. Basically, be descriptive, but don't waffle. It's quite easy to go, I'm a jeweller, I go out and I find inspiration on dog walks, I'm inspired by this leaf, da, 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 da. Just keep it to the point, be detailed what you do, how you make it, weights, if applicable, dimensions, anything that the customer might want to know, materials, how long it takes to make if it is a handmade product, things like this, what finish it has, anything that's applicable to your products that you sell. And don't put anything that's incorrect, so really stick to the right information, otherwise, again, you'll just get returns and it just wastes everybody's time. So provide everything you can, but be clear and concise. If you sell on other platforms like Amazon or there's Big Cartel or any specific sites that suit what you sell, be unique because SEO will pick up on different descriptions. So make sure your website is really unique with all the wording. Don't just copy and paste what another website has done. It takes a lot of time, but you want to pull in a really unique crowd of visitors. Again, nice little fact about 73% of online shoppers state a website with detailed product information is important, etc. That's really key. It says it all. People only have your images and your description to go by. They can't see it in the flesh. So just put it all out there for them to see. Clear navigation. There's nothing that annoys me more than trying to find stuff on a website and I'm going through all the menus and it's not clear. So a lot of people in life, everyone's busy, kids, things, school, etc. All these sorts of things that you've got to do in life and work. So when they're looking for something online, quite often they won't have the time to spend ages sifting through your website looking for things. So put in some clear navigation, maybe some filters to help people find what they want. So quite a lot of my customers are actually men looking for gifts for women. And if you've ever tried to buy jewellery for someone else, it's a bit hard, to be honest. It's really hard to suit someone else's taste. So if you make it simple for them by saying, right, we're going to go for earrings at this price point. You've done half the job for them, so you're presenting them exactly what you have for that price range. So you're not going to frustrate them. You can direct them to exactly what they're looking for. Again, simple, but a lot of people get this so wrong. You've spent ages sifting for things. Maybe even a search bar as well is quite a good feature. If they know what the product's called that they want, that they've seen you at a craft show or something before, you can type in the product name and it goes straight to it. So smartphones. A lot of people still aren't smartphone compatible. So as I said earlier, when you're trying to read a product description, you have to scroll across or turn your phone to read the description of the product, or the images don't look so good. So think about that. A lot of the templates are smartphone compatible, but when you're looking at a template, maybe check it out on your phone and tablet before you commit to buying. See how it looks and if you're happy with it. So at the moment, not many smartphone carts actually convert to sales. That will grow, and it is growing year on year. But at the end of the day, if you're, especially with jewellery, so it's quite high end, a lot of people will turn to the desktop just purely because it's a bigger screen. However, if your sort of business is going to be suitable, you can have quite a few online sales through your phone. The amount of times you're sitting, payday on the sofa and you just happen to accidentally buy a product, you want to do that for your customers so they can purchase your products. So checkout. This is what I'm working on with my own website. At the moment, I only offer PayPal, which puts people off. It's a bit of a long-winded process. I feel like it's where you can lose a lot of people. fair enough, a lot of people window shop anyway. We're all guilty of it. You add stuff to the product and then you hot tail out of there because you're only window shopping anyway. But really, if you're really quick and get them through your checkout as easily as possible, they might accidentally spend some money, which easily happens. So basically, be clear what you're offering. It's quite bad when you're on a website and then suddenly you get to the checkout and then there's really expensive shipping fees. So maybe make that obvious straight away what you're offering. If you offer free shipping, plaster that on your website. It's a really good bonus. Offer the multiple payment systems. So that's why I'm scrapping my current website, because it just loses me sales and it causes frustration. So with WooCommerce, it captures everybody. I'm not going to lose anybody because through payment systems, because I'm going to offer it all. So basically make everything clear. So as well with order time. So some of my items are made to order, which can be off-putting. If I suddenly present that at the checkout, that's going to cause frustrations. Make everything clear back in your product descriptions. Don't lose people in the checkout. And with that as well, don't have too many steps, because that's frustrating too. If you have to add your address 2-3 times, or if it's not clear where you add a voucher, all these different things. Think about it from your perspective. You're busy. You just want to get through these things. It's boring writing your address and email over and over again. Make it so easy that people can just spend their money with you quickly. So once you get to the stage of investing in template and photography and spending hours writing different product descriptions, you kind of need to assess if it's actually working. So is your hard work paying off? So ideally before you set it live, you need to test that it's all okay, because you don't want to set it live and there's errors. So firstly, assess after going through that sort of process of setting up, does it actually reflect your brand well and show what you do? It's quite easy to get lost in the world when you're setting up your website. You're so in the zone of it that you don't have those fresh eyes that you sort of need to see that it's okay. Would there be anything that put a potential customer off? Blurry images, spelling mistakes, anything like that that sort of says that you're not trustworthy? Especially if you're a small brand, people trust you less, so you need to prove that you're trustworthy and a proper company. Is there anything missing, like shipping information, return information, terms and conditions, anything that's on your website that people want to know the questions to, or answers to even? So user testing. I actually used to work for usertesting.com as well, and what users do. That's basically, anyone could do it. You sign up basically if you want to earn a little bit of money on the side, and you test websites live. They film you, and you have a little earpiece like this, and they set you a task, you have to complete it, and you give your thoughts at the same time. So if you can't find a product, it'll literally film you going, I don't know what I'm looking for, I'm lost here. And that is then given to the website owner, so they can see what you're thinking as you're going. You're also told to talk about how you feel on the website. Does it represent the brand? Is there anything that's putting you off? You're basically encouraged to speak your mind as you go through, which is really great as a business owner, because it's completely fresh eyes, someone giving you feedback that they don't know you, so they're going to be completely honest. So it's really, really handy. You can set your budget with user testing as well, so you can spend a little bit and get a little bit of feedback. If you've got a little bit more money in your budget, you can set it higher and get a few more feedback forms from people and videos. A free way to do it is to ask your friends and family, but like my friends and family, they're obviously they're scared to hurt your feelings. They sort of tiptoe around things. And also, you might hear something that you think, that's not fair. It looks good, and they don't agree with it. So it can be hurtful at the same time. So it can sort of be a bit difficult hearing it from a friend and a family member than a complete stranger. So choose what you will. So monitoring downtime. So when I said about how hosting is important, because you need people to go to your website and it's to be reliable and up all the time, well, as much as possible, have a high level of uptime. I actually stumbled across this app or this tool called Uptime Robot. I signed up really without thinking about it. It was free, and I thought, why not? But it's actually been so helpful. I had a really terrible hosting company, which I wouldn't have realised unless I had this tool. It checks my website every 5 minutes to check that it's running. And if it isn't, it sends me an email telling me my website's down, And then when it's back up again, it will tell me it's up again and how long it was off for. So I had a spate with my hosting company. It was happening daily, constantly. So obviously I know if my customer's going to my website and it's not there, I look really bad. They're not going to go, oh, she's got bad hosting. They're going to say she's not reliable, her website's not there. Needless to say, my hosting's now changed. But it's just a good way because you wouldn't know otherwise without a tool checking for you. Then we've got the magical world of Google Analytics. You can go into Google Analytics as much or as little as you like. It's a whole world to explore, and you can go quite in depth or you can look at it quite lightly. Mainly, the good things are you can check where your traffic is coming from, what area it's coming from, where around the world. So if you're investing in marketing, for example, you can kind of see if it's paying off. So say you invest in a craft show or something to start selling your products. You can then see, did I get any customer from that show? Did it work out? If you put some money into marketing in a magazine, has my customer base increased and my sales increasing? It basically helps you really see what's going on behind the scenes. You can get a little bit of this from WooCommerce, but Google Analytics is the master of it all, so it really helps. Again, there's quite a lot of YouTube tutorials on this, because it can get quite complex, or however much you want to delve into it, but I recommend you taking a little bit of a look. There's a few more website addresses for further reading if you wanted to. But as I said, I really do recommend the Shopify blog. I feel like I should get a cut for them, for advertising them. But no, I do. It's all there. Again, you can go for YouTube as well, and it's up there as well. There's a few, Baymard basically gives you a few statistics on what's currently happening online, and forecasts as well. But, you know, that's quite technical. If it doesn't bother you, ignore all that.